Okay, good evening, everybody. Today is Thursday and it's October 30th, 2025. The time is 5:15 p.m. Pacific, and this is the countrywide coordinator call with Anna Maria Reisinger. And Dolores is going to open up our meeting in a prayer. Go ahead, Dolores.
Thank you, Father, for gathering us all tonight here. We thank you for every single soul that is here, putting the best in their hearts and in their minds to this joint venture of becoming free. And thank you, Father, for Anna and all the team of volunteers that help her on the way. We ask you that you are present with us tonight and you give us the strength, the discernment, and the love needed to move forward without fear and with lots of determination. Amen.
So be it. Thank you, Dolores. Okay, Michael, are you ready to go ahead and do the Bivens?
Sure, thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
This is Michael, and this is from Bivens versus Six Unknown Agents, 403 US 388 from 1971. This meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance at today's meeting that is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency or public agency of the federal, state, county, city, or township agencies present? Is there a response to the Bivens decision for the first time? Hearing none, is there a response for the second time? Hearing none, is there a response to the Bivens decision for the third time? Anyone who is here under false pretenses, anyone who is working for any foreign government, including the territorial United States or municipal United States, anyone who is being paid or coerced to be here, must fully disclose their presence and purpose now or leave this call. If they subsequently show up as federal witnesses, they are discredited for failure to disclose. Are you now or have you ever received money or personal support of any kind from the intelligence community? Upon no response to this notice of Bivens' decision, this meeting shall now proceed. Thank you. I yield.
Whoops, I'm so sorry. I'm in the process of switching over to my desktop. I'm at my desk now. Bear with me for just a moment. Thank you, Michael. That was awesome. And also thank you, Dolores, for your great prayer. I appreciate both of you for your service and volunteering tonight. Now, I am just checking. I don't see whether or not Anna made it into the meeting just yet. But Cynthia, you mentioned about Lisa. Was there something that you wanted Lisa to share with us tonight?
No, I know Lisa had done Tuesday about the seatment standing of each and every state with Anna. And I thought that if Anna's late and needs questions, because I haven't heard from Anna say that there's anybody with the authority to teach other than her. So I didn't know if there was questions that had to do with that because I know that she has the answers and has been given the authority. Other than that, no. And I haven't seen Anna. I'll keep an eye out. I yield.
Okay, super. Thank you, Cynthia. There are a number of hands that are up right now, and I assume that as it normally is in the past, the hands go up right away for specific questions for Anna. Is there anyone on the call that has their hand up right now that it needs to ask a question that doesn't necessarily pertain specifically only to Anna? If so, please go ahead and unmute your mic and go forward with your question. Okay, with that, it appears as though everyone who has a hand up is wanting to ask a question specifically to Anna. So I'm going to make that assumption at this time.
Hey, Michelle, this is Michael. May I? I got a question that actually the whole group could help with.
Sure, go ahead, Michael. That would be great.
Did everybody read the article the other day that Anna wrote regarding an explanation for the government shutdown and what's going on? I thought it was very encouraging. And in the meanwhile, I'd love to hear some other people's thoughts on it, if that's okay with Michelle. I yield. Thank you.
I think that's a great topic of discussion. And yes, I did read that article. And of course, one of the first things that I thought about was, do you guys remember last year in the fall when Elon Musk created a corporation down in Texas called United States of America? And back at that time, I was wondering, like, I wonder what he's planning on doing with that. You know what I mean? But with this government shutdown and all of the people that are on public assistance and or public retirement, public jobs, I thought to myself, there are going to be so many people without a paycheck that are going to be in absolute panic. And then I thought, gosh, I bet you, it's just kind of a thought I had. He may be coming in as some sort of a knight in shining armor under the guise of United States of America to say, hey, listen, I've got plenty of money, to help cover the cost of these people that have lost their jobs or are not going to get their food stamps. But of course, time will tell. But that was the first thought that I had when I read that awesome article from Anna. Also, it appears as though Anna is officially on the call now. Welcome, Anna. We have a number of hands that are up. People are excited to talk to you. But before we entertain any hands, I'm sorry. I just noticed my camera's still up. Before we entertain any hands, do you have something that you'd like to share with us? We were just talking about your article, the most recent one regarding the 120 days and the bankruptcy of the municipal government and how it's finally coming to its bitter end as the final straw of this giant all the tentacles this giant situation.
It's huge. The veterans among us will understand when I say that it's being part of this gigantic thing that you don't have any control of, and it's happening, and you just have to go along with it and deal with it as best you can, because it's this whole huge process that that we're all involved in, whether we know that we're involved in it or not. So and I also compare it to giving birth. You're pregnant, and here's this gigantic process, and you kind of know the big outlines, what has to happen, blah, 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 but the particulars and the timing and all those sorts of things are not so clear. And so these are very chaotic times, and I hope that everybody is maintaining their patience and their faith and their good, optimistic focus on what you want to happen in your life and in your family, in your town, your state. And I think that we're all going to get through this together. But we're likely to see some very odd things and lots of weird stuff in the news, and there's likely to be a lot of lies as well as a lot of good information out there. You're going to have to use your discernment and you'll have to take some things with a grain of salt, but other things will be right up front, close and personal, and we'll call on you to take a hand and lend a hand 1 in 8 people are going to be affected by the loss of SNAP and disability benefits. And these are losses which are hitting people that, for the most part, are disabled, too young, or too old to be able to make up the difference. Also, bear in mind that with all the federal employees hitting the job market, we are experiencing not only the surplus of employees from the immigration policies of the past 4 years, but also are going to be seeing that many more people competing for that smaller number of jobs, right? So what we've got, if you just look at the surface of it, if you just look at what our employees have done and the end results of it, you're looking at a situation that is significantly worse than the Great Depression, that is significantly affecting more people, and that has a potential of unraveling much faster. Because remember, during the Great Depression, it took 3 years to build up and another 3 years to pass, and then another 3 years in recovery. It took a total of 9 years. So what you're seeing here is going to be like an instantaneous process by comparison. Okay, so that's the bad side. That's the upfront, in your face. You know people who are going to be suffering because of this. I have 2 employees who are going to suffer because of this. And I have veteran friends who are disabled, totally disabled, who are going to suffer because of this. And each and every one of you probably either already know people who are going to suffer, or will know, you will become aware of people in your circle of friends, neighbors, and you know, relatives and extended family who are suffering as a result of this. And it's calling upon all of us to make that extra effort and to become that much more discerning and aware, and to see those opportunities where we can do something. Maybe we're not in a position to take on the entire situation for someone. Maybe we are. But what we can do is we can join together, we can pitch pennies, we can stock the food banks, we can renew the commitment of the churches to their communities. You know, over the years, a lot of the work that the churches used to do in the communities has gone by the wayside. And they've been incorporated and have operated like businesses, just like all the other businesses. I think that this is going to call upon many churches to rethink their priorities and to no longer just assume that the government is going to take care of everything and everyone, because the nanny state is going away. And that's both good news and bad news. And right now we're getting the bad news. 40 million people, whether they are immigrants or part of the farm families down home and our young members of the military who can't afford to support their families on the wages of, say, an airman first class, are all going to be impacted by this. And a great many federal employees are losing their jobs as I've told you up front, 2/3 of the federal government, millions of people, are going to be affected. And if you figure that 12 million federal employees are hitting the job market, you have to multiply that by a factor of about 3.4 to get the total. So 36 million people affected by the federal layoffs, and another 40 million affected by the loss of SNAP benefits and disability benefits, either and or both. You are looking at roughly 70 million direct people affected. And through that, you're looking about at, well, 3/4 of the entire population being impacted. So this is serious. And it's already hitting. I just wanted to quickly read you a little bit of a letter that I got. And this is, I get letters like this on a regular basis. I'm sharing this one today because it's getting cold in Flagstaff, Arizona. There is a homeless woman and her dog staying at a shelter here in Flagstaff, Arizona. They don't belong there. They're forced to just walk around town all day as the shelter has a checkout time of 7 a.m. and they can't check back in until 3:30. The dog is an elderly, and I won't name the breed because I don't want this particular woman to be identified and targeted by anyone, but she's had it since it was 6 weeks old. I know that this dog has probably got joint issues and other issues. Walking all day is not good for either one of them. I don't know how they will survive in the bad weather. I am so scared for them. I see them around town every day. When I was shopping at Goodwill yesterday, I saw the woman and her dog and was able to have a 10-minute conversation with her. She seems like a normal, good person. Her dog is sweet and gentle. She mentioned that she had a house at one time. Please help her. They don't belong at the shelter. It's dangerous there sometimes, and the dog is probably sleeping on a hard floor after walking all day. Plus, they're both a little dirty and don't have access to showers and other things. She didn't want to tell me that she's homeless. I had to ask her directly. Please help her or help me to help her. This is urgent. The two of them have to stay together and be safe. I pray for them every day and cry as I write this. This situation is unacceptable and needs to be remedied now. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and that writer took the time to write in and share that story, but it's like how many people around the country are not being written about, you know?
Hey, for some reason, all of a sudden your voice is muted there.
Oh. Okay, hold on one second. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear Anna too.
Okay.
It might be
Well, anyway.
audio settings.
Michelle's voice is a little lower than it was.
Okay, hold on. Let me just double check. I mean, you can keep talking, Anna. I'll work on my audio situation to make sure that it's on all the way as high as it'll go.
Okay, it looks like everybody else is, and you're better now. For me too, it may have been just a momentary, satellite fade or something.
Okay.
Obviously, if you're in or around Flagstaff and can help, you have my number, you have my name, my email.
Well, Anna, I keep wondering, oh boy, I'm getting feedback, sorry, if there's going to be some other type of currency in general, some other monetary system, because it seems like what people really need is food, clothing, and shelter. And all the gold in the world may not necessarily, feed their bellies, put a roof over their heads. I just keep wondering, is it possible that the whole monetary system in general is going to take just a dive? I mean, with the AI technology that's coming out faster than we could possibly imagine, it seems like all the white collar jobs are going to be obsolete in a matter of a couple of years. And that really, it feels pretty hopeless. And I don't want to stand in hopelessness. We're obviously here because we want to be part of the solution and not be stuck in the problem. But what you're talking about is really hitting home, because you've been warning us now for a very long time to prepare for ourselves. And, many of us have heeded that warning, and we've got our cupboards stocked and a few shekels in the bank just in case, but it's not like that for, like you just said, 76 million people are about to be blindsided with this, no access. And there are 261 of us on the call. And what do you think that we can do to help to remedy this situation for these people that are going to be, come Saturday, they're not going to be getting their check?
Right. Well, the most immediate thing we can do is to contribute to the local food banks. The other thing is that those of us that have the good grace and have extra space in our homes can see about maybe taking in family members or friends that are disabled that, we might not have taken in otherwise. Look about you and see what you can do, because I will guarantee you that there will be situations where you can actually weigh in and make a difference. And just keep your discernment, your awareness of what's going on, and do keep your Shinola sensors on high, because there's always a whole bunch of organizations that show up and they start asking for money, and they pretend to be some sort of a big philanthropic effort. And they're not. They're just not delivering to the people. There are a few exceptions. There are a few good organizations that really do get down in the trenches and deliver. And you can find out who they are by going on the internet and researching nonprofit organizations that actually deliver. This is one of the things that I caution people. Yes, give by all means. Give directly if possible. If you are right there standing there looking at someone like this woman, find ways of helping her. Think about what sorts of resources the community already has. Think about resources that your assemblies might be able to put together. Look at your own situation and see what you may have to share. But if you're looking for organizations that are delivering systemic help, look at churches with good reputations for community service. Look for local food banks look for those organizations, maybe on a national level, that have maintained a good reputation over the years for how much actually gets delivered to people instead of being eaten up in administration costs. I know that Paralyzed Veterans of America, for example, has a very good reputation for helping paralyzed vets. If those veterans are losing their disability benefits, they will be in the front lines doing everything they can to help. I have a special soft spot for women and children who are displaced for whatever reason. And, you know, speaking from a standpoint of being a woman and having had children and, you know, raising a family, there are times when you feel very vulnerable, because you know if anything happens to you, if you get sick, if you lose your job, if you miss payments or whatever, that your kids are going to be hurt. And you're all going to wind up in that shelter situation if you can find a place at a shelter. And from what I've seen, a lot of shelters around the country are already at a overflow condition. And there are many organizations that are simply opening up their doors during the day so that people can come and sit on a chair in a warm space. Okay, so this is something we're going to have to buck up against individually and as organizations and as families and communities. That's all the bad stuff. And as Michelle has rightly brought forward, all the gold in the world won't buy you a clean cup of water. All the gold in the world won't buy you a meal. Okay, there are times when reality comes crashing in, and we have to realize that these are just representations of value, representations of labor, representations of commodities. And when that moment comes, it doesn't do you any good to have a gold coin if you can't buy food. All right? So this is a supply chain problem as well as a funding issue. Because if the supply chain goes down, then you're looking at a different bailiwick, a whole different can of worms. Suddenly you've got farmers with 50,000 tons of potatoes and pumpkins that can't get to market. So they can't deliver to you. So even if there's food, it's not available. And everybody's being messed up on both ends of the transport situation, because the farmer is sitting there unable to sell his produce, and the people who need it can't get it. So this is potentially a devastating problem, all right? Now, we're opening up our vendor system within the Global Family Bank. So everybody who has food commodities or commodities they want to sell, get signed up as a vendor. We're going to be opening the bank, and you'll be able to directly interface with other people, and you'll be able to trade gold and silver and all the other attributes that we have that stand for value, right? There are big changes going on right now. There are, for example, the SWIFT system that was used to transfer money all over the world, and which established kind of a monopoly on bank transfers, is no more except for an analog system used by the World Bank, the Bank for International Settlements, and the IMF. All the other banks are being transferred onto the QFS or permanently closed, except for our banks, of course. And so our Global Family Bank is the only other organization that can deliver worldwide. And it's the only thing that's keeping the system from being totally monopolized. So by all means, support Global Family Bank, support what we're trying to accomplish here, and count on it that in all of the different things that I've seen, Global is the only organization that has actually delivered on what it said it was going to deliver when it said it was going to deliver. All these other banks haven't. All these other organizations haven't. All right, so I have nothing but good to say about Global. And I'm looking forward to seeing the vendors open up this week, sometime within the next 7 days. All of you who have goods and services to offer, sign up and get your vendor accounts. And realize that we are, I think there's a big misunderstanding. People are talking about their trust accounts. There are no trust accounts that belong to you, okay? What happened is that it was convenient for the Brits to assume that our government was gone and dead and wasn't coming back. And so what they did is that they salvaged us, just like an Admiralty salvage operation. They came along and they picked up all these quote unquote abandoned vessels on the high seas. They waived your right to your political status as an American for you and took you under tow together with all your assets. What you are looking at are foreign public trusts, okay? And the municipal trusts have been liquidated and rolled over into British seamen's trusts operated under Admiralty law. Okay, so now you have a British seamen's trust, an estate named after you. And these vermin are busily administering your trust, or the trust named after you, I should say, for you to benefit themselves. Okay, so we're standing here fending them off at the same time that we're bringing forward our claims and knocking them out of the arena because they're not a lawful government. Okay, they're not even a government, they're just a corporation. All right, so here's the argument. They have all these public trusts named after you, but actually there are no public trusts affiliated with you. You're an American, and the only trust that can exist is the trust, the American Infant Descendant Estate, that you are owed. And that is owed back to you and held harmless, okay? They have to return that to you unharmed. And that's what you've got coming to you. plus whatever damages that I can inflict. And believe me, after all the things that they've done and all that they've stolen, this is a topic that deserves a lot of negotiation. So anyway, this idea that you've got a public trust, or rather that you have a trust, a private trust, no. What we're dealing with right now are two foreign, intestate public trusts that they're pillaging, plundering, and gutting to the best of their ability. And what we're trying to prevent is exactly that. We're trying to roll your American Infant Descendant Trust forward and capture all of that ill-gotten gain back to the American people. Okay, so a lot of this is going on. It's being fought out every day, and some huge pieces of that puzzle are fitting together. So there is a tremendous amount of wealth that you have. There's a humongous amount of prepaid credit that's owed to you. And so all of these things, ironically enough, are on one side, you're richer than Midas. On the other hand, you're poor, because this whole situation has gotten totally out of hand, and the books haven't been kept up. The books have not been balanced for generations. And some people who are inclined to be bean counters and nitpickers want to have this exact down to the penny. Let me tell you, that isn't even beginning to be possible. What we're going to have to deal with are best guesstimates and go with it and refine it as we go, because otherwise we could be sitting here for another 100 years just trying to sort out the details of exactly how messed up this has become. And meantime, people will be dying, animals will be dying, and things that we cannot replace that are worth more than money will be in jeopardy. So we're making our choices based on support of life and support of the present moment. We're not going to worry about the past. We're not going to try to second guess the future. We're going to focus on right now and taking care of people right now, and dealing with the problems that we have in the present moment. And once we get a good handle on where we're at, then we can think about restitution for the past. We can think about what kind of choices we're going to make for the future. But reporting back to you from the front lines, there's a tremendous amount of money available. The next question is, how are we going to translate that into the things that we need to move food and transport food to where it needs to go? How are we going to make sure that everybody gets through this? And so that's where we're at. We're at that cusp between, okay, we located funding sources. Okay, we have a means of distribution through the Global Family Bank. And now, what are we going to do in terms of improving the security of the transfer chain? And how are we going to make it possible for farmers to get their goods directly to people? Okay. So those of you who have ideas about that, those of you who have farm connections and farm produce connections, this is, we can use our vendor network to make that happen so that people can be fed.
Well, you really summed it up, Anna, because you're absolutely right. And there are a number of people that are getting sucked into this whole idea of trust, but they don't have the facts straight about what happened with these, identities that they created and, dropped into this other jurisdiction, these other foreign jurisdictions. So there's a lot of confusion going on. And I think the hardest part for people to handle is recognizing that the identity, when we do the status correction and we expatriate those names that they've created, that those names are the names that are tied to, a paycheck. If they've got a W-2 job or a 1099 opportunity or whatever, I'm using those taxing terms.
Right.
We're trying to take those names and break them free from that system. But it's almost like Pharaoh, back in the day when Moses was like, let my people go. And Pharaoh isn't letting the people go, right? So it's like Exodus 2.0, where we don't need their permission to be let go, but they need to let us go, right? Because we voluntarily want to have nothing to do with their crooked, fraudulent, duplicitous, rapacious, double-minded, wrong-headed, unnatural profiteering system, their pirate system.
We have indeed seen this before. We have. And the Bible, it lays out what happened before.
Yeah.
And it tells you what's likely to happen now. Yeah. And there are specific references in the Bible that tell us that at a certain point, your gold and silver will be worthless.
Yeah.
And people will throw it in the streets. It literally says that. So even gold and silver, which many people are putting their faith in, will fail. However, if we keep our wits about us, the real currency of the universe, which is love, will see us through. So
Love that. Yep.
We are going to have to hold hands. We're going to have to humble ourselves. We're going to have to serve and care for each other. And as for those who are on this big trip, the corpo trip, where they think they're going to rule and surveil and all of that, they're going to be terribly disappointed because their corporations will be destroyed, nationalized, and their mind control system will be undermined. One of the things that you can do to help yourselves and your families to resist the onslaught of AI is, number one, don't use AI. Use your own brain, do your own research. Number two, and this is from Elon Musk, by the way, get up every day and write down your goal for the day. Doesn't matter what it is, just, write it down and force yourself to look at it on the page so that you are using your memory. Force yourself to memorize the phone numbers of the people that you love and depend upon most. Back in the day, we always memorized the telephone numbers of our kids and our mothers and our, we always knew that. We didn't have to, look it up on our phone, right? Make the effort to do these little memory things every day and force your attention to be centered on what you want it to be centered on instead of what the AI dictates for you. Okay, so where you place your attention is of extreme importance. Your attention is one of your greatest assets. And we don't think of it this way. We just go along willy-nilly and let everything and everyone distract us, right? So by writing down your goals every day, it forces you to give your attention to what you want to accomplish. By forcing yourself to memorize the telephone numbers of those that you care about, you're not only exercising your brain and your memory, you're cutting the dependence on the thing, right? This used to be a handy device, right? But we've allowed it to take over and to basically do all of our work for us, right? We no longer remember our mother's telephone number. Okay, so what happens if your phone gets wrecked or doesn't work? You know, what are you going to do? You won't be able to contact her. We need to think about these things. A lot of people are letting their memory just degrade to a point where they can't remember anything. They're not making the effort to remember their daughter's mailing address. They're not making the effort to remember the names of streets in their towns because they are dependent on a geo-tracking system in their telephone to tell them how to get somewhere. Okay? We have to go back in order to maintain our safety and our brain power and to make this AI nightmare go back in its box where it belongs. So be aware that when we're talking about this being a war in the jurisdiction of the air, it's the jurisdiction of ideas and energy. And we have to make the effort to maintain our brain power, maintain our memory, maintain our awareness of our surroundings, maintain an awareness and attention on our goals, and continue to assert ourselves in all these powerful mental and spiritual and energetic ways so that we don't become little dependent vegetables. Those of you who remember the movie The Matrix, well, they're trying to reduce us into storage batteries of biological energy that they can feed off and use. And we have been forewarned. So now that we are forewarned, we have the opportunity to individually and collectively make our plans and put them into action. And just being aware of the problem is the first step. Okay? All right, so let's take some questions.
Thank you, Anna. Yeah, we have a number of hands up, starting with Rebecca Roberts. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Hi, Anna. Thank you so much for being here today. I know you're so busy and we're all so grateful. I have a question. Well, I have a lot of questions, but just wanted to start with focusing the people who come to the General Assembly meetings on what you would consider a plan. So we educate. We have people more and more interested, learning, and then want to run for their positions. And then we fill our seats and we have a good team working together. Then what would you advise for, I mean, with so much going on and really, I personally feel like it's about protecting life more than anything at this point with our General Assemblies. And we did have a good discussion on North Carolina about our strategy and what we wanted to work on. And I think people just aren't sure because there's so much to focus on. What what would be a good basic looking forward, and how we want to, of course, show our provenance and do our all of our notices, etc. But then would the jury work together to bring forth presentations of things that would protect the people? Would it have to do with those who have had unjust laws, thrown at them and they're imprisoned? I mean, there's just so much what direction to go in. And of course, it depends on the people on that Jural Assembly meeting and what they bring. But what do you see? I'd love to hear what you think. And sorry for talking so long about our questions, but it just really is a really wonderful thing to focus on, especially when we are all just learning how to be the people and be our own government. Thank you so much. I yield.
This is going to come as a great shock, even though actually all of you know this information already. The government is shut down. The government that you have known all your lives is shut down. Stop a moment and think about that. It's being staffed by volunteers.
There's no one here but his chickens.
That's right. So, you've got thousands of military employees who are showing up for work who aren't getting paid. You've got thousands of federal civil service workers who are showing up to work and not getting paid. Everything is actually shut down. We had a very wealthy American, rumored to be Tim Mellon from the Mellon Bank, step forward and pay out $130 million to pay the top flag officers and the most important essential military personnel to maintain our protection grid. Think about that. The government is shut down. The Supreme Court is working without pay and largely without authority. They can speak to issues for the corporation, but otherwise they cannot decide a lot of issues because it's not a lawful government. I have talked about this for many years, that they are just corporations. You've got a set of commercial corporations and you've got a set of municipal corporations. Now, the municipal corporations arguably have the ability to tax, but there's a problem. According to the Constitution, they're limited to the city of Washington, D.C. They're not supposed to be operating in the states of the Union. So how did they get out into the states of the Union? Well, as I demonstrated using Alaska and the Constitution of the state of Alaska as an example, the territorial government breached the Constitution, breached our trust, and set up territorial administrative states, and then contracted with the municipal corporations to provide them with services, not us. And they brought the municipal corporations into our states of the Union on the pretense that they were there servicing a contract, a service contract with the territorial government. So now what happens when the municipal government is bankrupt and unable to function? Well, then the municipal government cannot collect taxes. They cannot process court cases. They cannot pay SNAP benefits or disabilities. The only reason that Social Security is still functioning is that Social Security is set up as a separate system. Okay? So their entire little arrangement that allowed them to collect taxes and to distribute money into all these programs is gone. The mechanism is gone, and that's why the entire government is shut down, both municipal and territorial. And we're it, folks. I've been saying this for I don't know how many years now. This is your government. You're it. And we have to stand up. We have to be here. We have to be present. We have to do this for ourselves, and we have to do it for our kids. All right? We don't have any choice. We're the ones that are here. And sure, there'll be a lot more who now join us because they finally wake up and realize, oh my, we almost lost our entire country. All right? But we're it. And this is not a drill. As of November 1st, this is serious. All right, so we're not going to talk about, oh, it's so nice to think about, you know, how the juries are supposed to work. Those juries are going to have to work because they're the only juries they're going to be. Now think about this. Everything, all aspects of government that you can think of, except for us, have been incorporated. The counties have been incorporated. The states have been incorporated. The states of states have been incorporated. And they've all been run by foreign governments. And that whole structure is gone. District courts? What district courts? District should, you know, that word should just kind of go, wah, wah, wah. Serinola sensors should be going off like crazy, and you should be going, district, as in District of Columbia? District courts can't address us. District courts are limited to district personnel, district citizens, district functions, okay? There should be no district courts operating in our states of the Union except territorial courts addressing territorial personnel and citizenry. All this has been wrong. All of this that you are used to is wrong. All of it's been predicated on fraud and usurpation against the people of this country and against its actual government. The whole business that we have going on with these foreign public trust entities being named after us, that's a result from illegal latching upon us. It's illegal latching activity, illegal salvage, as if we needed to be salvaged by the British government. So it's time to stop playing around with this and thinking that, oh, well, you know, someday we'll get our drill society up and running, and you know, our drill assembly will, you know, have enough jurors someday. No. You have got to get your drill assembly together right now and get damn serious right now, because if you don't, guess what? Then the only form of justice you will have will be a martial law court, and you will be subject to a foreign martial law tribunal that can kill you at their whim. So, everybody, it is absolutely imperative that you stand up your own courts for your own assembly members, so that when the moment comes, you can say, ah, well, you know, we have our court stood up. We have our court, so we don't need you. And we're going to take action and put it before you all to make that court system very, very simple, so that you don't have to worry too much about policy and procedure, so that you can develop your own case law and not be hindered by the past. And those initiatives are going to be placed before the state assemblies as roll call vote initiatives.
Wait,
You'll see what we're doing.
What's going to be presented as a roll call initiative? Could you say a little bit more about that?
There are a number of measures that we need to take to simplify the whole setup of the law and what the juries have to deal with. We are not going to try to keep up with 80 million statutes and codes. We're not going to worry about a great many of the past issues. We're just going to concentrate on providing ourselves with a workable, commonsensical system now, so that we continue to have law and we continue to have order, but we don't have a lot of, how could I say this? We're not going to be hindered and crippled by trying to undertake a study that takes 8 years in 8 days, okay? We're not doing that. And it's all going to be submitted to each one of the assemblies soon. And each one of the initiatives will be described. A brief abstract of the pros and cons will be included. And then it's up to you folks. We're going to reform the courts. We're going to reform the money. Those are the two primary goals that we have and that are immediate and necessary. And then we're going to quietly set up our entire system as it's meant to be set up, and begin the process of actually looking at restructuring, reconstructing, bringing America back into the form of government that it is intended and meant to have. So this is not theoretical anymore. This is not someday, this is today. And this is going to come very quickly, because it needs to, because it has to, in order to save lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And thank you so much for that impassioned response. And it is essential and it is so important that we get our acts together and do this now. Keep it simple. And there's plenty of really good, simple pamphlets out there that we can study, principles of common law, and start thinking about the people that we're here to protect as the government. It's our job. And so, yeah, we're feeling a lot of enthusiasm toward that. And any help we can have, we all appreciate. So if something's coming forward for our assemblies that we need to start working on, then we're open arms and looking forward to getting going with that. So thank you so much.
It's coming at you. I guarantee it's coming at you right now. You'll be getting help, but you'll also be getting a lot of questions, a lot of things that we need to feed back through the Federation, where the state assemblies get to vote on matters, and then, you know, that becomes our marching orders.
Awesome.
We're ready.
Thank you so much for that question. Thank you, Anna. Rocky, go ahead.
How you doing, Anna?
Hi, Rocky.
With everything that was said today, I had this big list of what I was going to talk to you about, but one of the things that the first thing you talked about is helping the people and all that stuff. And if there's any way that we could actually get our money so we could actually help people, so we have money, or even the assemblies or the counties getting money to help build whatever they need to build because they would have the resources.
Right.
That would be one way that would really help a lot of us right now, and also stimulate the economy. You know what I'm saying? Because if we could use that money for that, you know, to stimulate the economy, you know, stimulate the, you know, the places where people would go for food or whatever, you know what I'm saying? That would be my goal of using the money, is to actually try to help as many people as you can. You know what I'm saying? And if you know, if there's any time frame that GFG could release this money so that we could do that, I think we could help our economy to come back. You know what I'm saying?
Well, as I haven't updated everyone on the court action.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now bear in mind, all of the court arguments have been heard. The oral arguments have been done, and we won. Okay, just straight across the board, we won.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have to do the summation. The paperwork has to be signed off on by the courts. There's going to be a, you know, we're working in tandem with our native nations so that we can cover all of the different jurisdictions and completely retrieve our country from the brink of disaster. You'll hear some things you may or may not understand. Depending on the words that are used or the explanations that are given, it may sound like the natives are taking over. That's not exactly what's happening. What's happening is that everybody's dual national, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're covering the soil and land, we're covering the land and sea, and then together we're covering the air and the land and the sea as a group.
Mm-hmm.
And what roles you're playing, that's something that can be worked out over time. But what's essential is that there are at least enough Americans coming at this from enough different perspectives and from enough different identities to hold down the whole fort. Okay?
Right.
So we're doing this, and it's an all-American effort. It should not cause you any great consternation. Don't go running off and making assumptions. Realize that you know, we've always had 500 and some native nations here living with us cheek and jowl, and they are dual nationals. And so we wind up with a situation where they can help to bring this whole situation to an end. And we've organized that so that they are in a position to make part of the claim. We're making part of the claim. And all together, we're going to come out of this with our country intact. So just have a little faith, keep calm, keep working. It does not affect us in the least. This is not some sort of a new racist government or something coming on board. This is what we've always had, and simply are now coming to a different understanding of what it means to be a nation and a nation state. Mm-hmm. Okay? But within probably 10 days, you're going to see some unimaginable changes. Because as I say, the government is shut down. Mm-hmm. And the government, the lawful government, has to reopen.
Right.
Okay, so this is what we're intent upon doing right now, is reopening the lawful government and getting the resources needed to back that transition and to be able to bring enough people on board and enough power to bear to solve the problems that our country is going to have as a result of this transition. Mm-hmm. And our purpose here is, as always, is to preserve life and property.
Right, right.
So we're probably just a few days away from having the bank together, ready to go. We are not beholden to anybody. Mm-hmm. We have our own resources. And so it's not like we're waiting on some third party to make a decision. But what we are waiting on is for the final summations and the paperwork coming down from the three tribunals that have those jurisdictions in our favor to, officially recognize, okay, well, here's the government's. Okay. Mm-hmm. As soon as that's done, everything opens up. It'll be like opening an umbrella. Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. So we're looking forward to that opening the umbrella moment and the rain stops falling on your head. Okay.
That's good. So last Sunday, I had a meeting with everybody for the same reason, to try to get everybody ready, to build this government, to get it up and running and get people involved, because I know it's coming fast and we have to be ready for it. And right. I've been doing as much training and much whatever I can do to get them ready. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where we need to be. Right. And I've been, I even told Sue and them, on the state level, because that's what they're working on, right? To get ready and get that done and get it up and running. You know what I'm saying? Because we're going to need it. We're going to need that protection in our counties,
Absolutely.
And, and I've been trying to get all the counties together, through the Union State and, to try to get them all up and running, as much as I can, and, the deal is, a lot of it, the people would help, but they don't have money and they're hurting right now because they're doing 2-3 jobs. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that's why I said that kind of stuff would help us get us up and running, and, it's like the last time we talked about the 2 states and the county, and how the state of the union has 4 pillars, right? The county has 2 pillars. And then you said that the state of the union, the union state, only doesn't have an international business because they're landlocked, right? And that was in one of your articles you just put out too, right?
Yeah, they're protected.
Right.
They're protected. We didn't want international interference at the county level because at the time that everything was being built, we had so many different foreign governments that had their fingers in the pie here and who had people who were still deeply affiliated with foreign governments.
Right.
So there's no international function at the county level.
Right, the Union State. So what I was thinking, because of what you said, is that the Union State would have their General Assembly, they would have their their courts. I forgot the name off the top of my head right now, but would they also have a militia to handle with the land
Sure.
with all the counties?
Sure. You have a county militia and you have a state militia.
So you'd have the Union State militia, that'd be their three pillars, right? So they would have three. Let's see where I was going to go with this. Because I'm trying to get all of this together and working, you know what I'm saying? So I'm getting everybody together and getting laying out all the stuff that we talked about the states and the union and the counties, and try to get our towns up and running with our counties, all that kind of stuff. We got to get everybody together, because when our counties need help or whatever, then they're going to bring it to the Union State. And if it becomes a international thing, then we need to bring it to our State of the Union, right?
Well, think of this. You need a natural resources committee.
Okay.
At the county level, at the Union State level.
Okay.
Right? Because while the state that we've been building is a land jurisdiction, it's international, right? It's international land jurisdiction. What's the land? The land is the subsoil.
Right.
The county controls the actual soil, the surface. Okay.
Right.
So what we've had in the past here are soil and water conservation districts, right? Well, your county is supposed to be doing that. Your county is supposed to be protecting your soil and your surface water. Your county is supposed to be dealing with sanitation issues. Your county is supposed to be dealing with public safety issues. Your county is supposed to be maintaining your own jails. All this stuff is coming at you. You're supposed to have a duly elected sheriff. That sheriff is supposed to have deputies. They're supposed to have stars on their chest. They're supposed to have commissions in their hands. Not commissions for like the military or anything, but deputies are deputized. I was explaining this yesterday to Texas. They're not commissioned, they're not appointed, and they're not elected. Deputies are deputized.
Right.
And so the deputies are taking part in the sheriff's office and under the sheriff's direction. It's a different
we have a sheriff that's voted in, whatever, and he actually built all of that and the deputies. We have, I think, 6 deputies right now to do all that, and they've been deputized. We already created our star for the sheriff to wear.
Right.
We've done a lot of that work, to try to get everything ready, because, like I said, we're going to need that. We're going to need all that stuff when this goes live. Especially your sheriffs, your courts, your general assemblies, all of that stuff needs to be up and running, or we're going to get, just going to be way behind, So we have to get ready for all that stuff. And one of the things I wanted to ask you, because I did the seal for the Union State. Now, should that seal say national soil jurisdiction, or is it soil and land jurisdiction?
It's just soil. The national union, the Union State represents the national level of the soil, jurisdiction of the soil, surface water, actual soil, as in soil and water conservation,
right?
Forests, animal life, all those things are supposed to be under the control and care of the county level and the Union State as a whole.
Okay. So me putting national soil jurisdiction, is that correct or not?
Well, you could just say national jurisdiction, because all national jurisdictions are soil related. They're all soil. Land is an international jurisdiction. So the counties in the Union State are all soil jurisdiction. And when you say national, with respect to us and our government, it means soil jurisdiction, because we have soil jurisdiction.
Okay, right? I'll change it to then just national jurisdiction.
Yeah.
The Union State.
Right.
And then counties would be just soil jurisdiction.
Well, no, they have the national jurisdiction within their county.
Okay. So we can use the same thing for the counties?
Right. You are a nation unto yourselves within your counties. You are a nation unto yourselves within your union state. And you are an international body within the state of the union.
Right.
Okay, so you've got soil, and then you've got land, air, and water.
Right.
Okay, so, and we all have to work together. All of this bickering, all of these false accusations back and forth, all this little pity-potty crap, all of this power mongering, all this positional struggle that you've brought forward from the old world and the old government, it all has to go. It has to be erased from your thought process. You are now officially all neighbors. Okay?
Exactly.
You're neighbors, and you're all dependent on each other. Because if you don't work together, guess what?
You fall together.
Right. As Ben Franklin said, if we don't hang together, we will most certainly hang separately.
Exactly.
And we're not rebels because we're simply operating our own government, and we have every right to. But we do need to reach across whatever misunderstandings and whatever nonsense has gone on in the past and actually heal any wounds, forget any petty differences, just forget it. This past week, I got a very long 67 pages of complaints and alleged crimes that were being committed supposedly. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, people aren't getting it. They're just not getting it. This is community. This is neighbors. This is not the regulated government. This is not the federales. This isn't the federated states. We don't have code books 1,000 pages long for every little department. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not where we're going. That's not what we are. That's not what we're doing. Okay. And we don't have this legalistic mindset where we're going to sue somebody and accuse them of lying and cheating and criminal behavior every time we don't get our way. Okay, that's we're not little babies here. We're not going to be sitting there on the pity potty. We're not playing kindergarten again. Okay, anybody who didn't learn in kindergarten how to get along with other people needs to go back and study. Everything you ever needed to learn, you learned in kindergarten, okay? You need to really think about showing some care and some respect and some sharing and just give up all this petty bickering. Take the time to learn how your government is actually supposed to work, and you will see that there's more than enough space for everybody to grab their little piece and start chewing away and doing their bit. Everybody has talent. Everybody has insight. Everybody's got skin in this game. So, act accordingly.
Yeah, it's one of the things I like in my training. What I train everybody is we're not supposed to use our committees and everything against each other. We're supposed to love each other. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it's like the ombudsman is basically supposed to solve problems, not create more problems. By convicting somebody of something or trying to do whatever, they're supposed to, solve it. Like get the problems to go away. You know what I'm saying? And then our oversight committees are basically there to just make sure that the assembly's doing what they're supposed to be doing, like what we as people want them to do. You know what I'm saying? And not fight over that either. So it's like you're saying, it's like we got to go back to kindergarten, learn how to, be people and learn to love each other. That's the way I look at it.
Right. We need to be peaceable. We need to work cooperatively together to make this all work. And if we don't, guess what? Then we lose it all.
Exactly.
And everybody suffers.
This is our last chance to do something good.
I believe that this is a not just for our country, but for the whole world. I've made no bones about the fact that we're not the only ones that are affected by this. I mean, most of the Western world is going through the same exact process and the same exact problems.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and I'm going to yield right now because I took up a lot of your time, but it was a lot of good stuff that you said and a lot of good things that everybody need to hear.
yes.
So I really appreciate it. Love you a lot. Just thank you. And I
Take care,
yield.
Rocky.
Thank you, Rocky. Okay, David Hara, you're up.
Thank you, Michelle. Anna, it's so good to see you. When I read this afternoon your latest article, More Confirmation, I don't know why, but I felt an awful lot of love coming from you to us in that article. It has a peaceful ending, a peaceful solution, and I don't know what overcame me to gather that from just reading this article, but I just wanted to, that's why I raised my hand, just to say that much. Now I do have a question, hearing what you said about within 10 days, getting together, or well, I'm not sure. What I heard you say is that we'll do a roll call vote. Now, is that each state assembly doing a roll call vote, let's say from all the different counties? Or anyway, I didn't understand quite what you meant by that.
Sometime in the next 10 days, some actions are going to be formalized. Okay. I'm going to give
Yes.
our final summation before the courts. The hearings already happened. The decisions have already been made. Now we're in the process called summation. And at summation, you do your closing arguments, you do all of the closing stuff. Any option here for anybody to come in and present new information or, overturn the rulings that are there that have already been considered. This is it. Okay, sometime in the next 10 days, I'm going to have a video conference and I'm going to make a prepared statement, which is called the summation. After the summation, assuming that no radically different, new, or other information comes to light, everything will just go forward. The new old government will be recognized. And we will be joining with the Native Nations, as we've always had a relationship with the Native Nations. And we will be working to provide a rational government for this country. Our states will then have funding and will be able to go forward without any more waiting or anything. We'll just be able to start moving forward. And our bank will be ready and able to do the distributions, and everything will work. I think we're as prepared as we possibly can be to make all of that happen. So just be aware that an awful lot of work has been done by an awful lot of people for a lot of years to save this country's bacon, and it is all going to go over that tipping point in the next 10 days. So at that point, a whole series of other things will happen. The love that you felt is very much love, because what we have been dedicated to is bringing a peaceful and logical, commonsensical, problem-solving attitude, not a spirit of vengeance, not a spirit of war, but a spirit of community and let's solve problems. Okay, that's what's been at the bottom of everything from the start, is a peaceful, lawful solution to situations that we inherited. And so, yes, that's what we're all called to do, is to seek those peaceful, lawful solutions, which are of great benefit to the living people And the living people, let's face it, that includes our federal employees. Okay, so yeah, it's there. And you will be seeing these initiatives. The initiatives they cover a range of different topics. They are primarily geared toward an immediate court reform and an immediate fiscal money reform. And you'll see what they are and be able to consider them. Each of the states will have their opportunity to debate these issues and then tally their vote on each initiative. And it's going to be a balloting process. There are a lot of structural changes that have to take place. And education, frankly, because you're going to be seeing lots of people are going to suddenly want to join your assemblies because they realize that, hey, this is where it's happening, and here's where we're going to have our voice. And they're going to walk through your doors, and they're not going to understand the change from legal to lawful. They're going to come in with a very legalistic mindset. They're going to come in with that old hierarchy in mind and all the assumptions that power is positional and all of that stuff. You're going to have to get yourselves together and have an orientation lecture of the kick butt kind. And then you're going to have to repeat that on an almost daily basis, at least 10 times. And demonstrate it in how you respond to each other and what you do and how you act, so that finally people are able to relax and step back and realize, hey, we're all just neighbors here. You know, we're all doing what we can do to help our country and help ourselves and help each other. And this is a lawful, peaceable, inclusive, unbiased, everybody for everybody endeavor that we're engaged in. There's no prejudice. There's no vengeance. This is just a straight up, you know, we're here to solve problems. We're here to bring about restitution and reclamation. We're here to take part in our government. And it's totally allowable, it's totally lawful, it's totally legal. We are doing absolutely nothing wrong. Okay? We're on our best behavior. We're on the high road. And we're going to stay on the high road because we have no reason to depart from it. Okay?
Well, thank you, Anna. I just what you just said fits exactly with where I am at, and with all the people that I have recorded as a recorder. We are really all a big family, and we all work together well, and we're looking forward to doing what we need to do. And I yield. Thank you.
Great. Guys, on the med beds, I just saw a comment in the chat. There are over 800 med beds that are staged already, and they are drawing up lists of where these are going to be made available in each state. So as soon as that is made public, of course, the VA hospitals, obviously, and then larger regional hospitals. So the training is ongoing with these things, with the med beds. As I've told you, there are 3 different, basic kinds of technology. One is diagnostic. That's the first one everybody goes through, is diagnostic. Then there's restorative therapy, which is kind of a reset for your biological computer. And, a process that gets rid of parasites and bad bacteria and broken DNA and, dead cells that have forgotten how to turn off and on. All that kind of stuff gets restored, And then there are the therapies that involve regrowing limbs and restructuring serious injuries or situations like your kidneys have ceased functioning and you're on full dialysis and things of that nature. The more serious, intractable conditions that the body needs help to actually restore. So there are basically 3 levels. Most people only need 2. There's going to be a preference for veterans because, frankly, veterans made this possible. And many of them suffered service-related injuries that need to be compensated for so that they can be back to living their lives. So there is a veteran's preference. They are going to be made widely available. And those of us that have relatively good health, these things can do really incredible different things. Like they could make me look 30 years younger. Would I like to look and feel 30 years younger? Yes, you bet I would. Do I need to feel 30 years younger in order to be comfortable in my skin? No, I do not. Therefore, I'm going to be waiting and being an old lady and looking like an old lady long after a lot of other people are back in trim, and that's okay. Okay, we're all kind of called to assess our own condition and let others who really need the help get the help first, okay? In the meantime, there are going to be a lot of other initiatives going on to bring forward other kinds of medical care that we haven't had access to, things that have been considered kind of, outside the allopathic medical paradigm, I guess you could say, but which are valid health promoting therapies that are thousands of years old. There will be lots of different health related services available, different things like medical massage, hydration therapy, essential oil work, just a wide variety of things that will be available and can be paid for you, that before you had to pay for yourself, and that were, maybe available, maybe not. There will be a lot of things that are available to you that are that were not something that was inside the allopathic medical community, but which are viable, important, and oftentimes, very practical medical and health measures and therapies that you'll suddenly have available.
That is awesome. Thank you, Anna. By the way, I want to just check in with you on how much time do we have you for, because we have 7 hands up, and I forgot to ask you, what time do you need to hop off? It's about 5 minutes before 6 time.
Yeah, I only scheduled till 6, an hour and 45 minutes, and I'm afraid I've been talking all this entire time. We got 5 minutes, guys.
Okay, let's see how many we can get done in 5 minutes. Go ahead, John Russell.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
John Russell from South Carolina Assembly. We've been having a little trouble with our assembly. I just wanted to let you know that we're getting things straightened out. And on Tuesday, we're voting in a new treasurer and maybe some new officers also. So I'll make it short. We are getting back on track. So I just thought I'd let you know that. I thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, John.
You have a beautiful evening now, and thank you.
You too.
I yield.
Way to go, South Carolina. All right, Mike McGowan.
Hey, Anna, you asked me to get in touch with Terry regarding the internet project to try to round up the domain names, and she hasn't responded back. And I tried to get Bob Locke on, and I heard from him once, but then he's off doing something. I don't know. I haven't heard back. I'd be happy to do this and submit this and tailor it to the silver bullet we've been doing, and also this minute order that you expect, and get them noticed so that hopefully they can respond as quickly as possible, so we can get the whole world communication system starting to wake up to what's going on. And I just want your blessing, or how to move forward if I can.
Well, it's kind of hard to give you the right advice here because the court system is being shut down. It's, the government is shut down and the court system is being shut down with it. Okay, so a lot of the actions that are presently in the court system won't be pursued. And a lot of the whole structure is going away. It's hard to know exactly how this is going to play out in terms of the district courts being phased out and the state courts being phased out, and to what extent they remain and who they can address. All those things are being sorted. So my best suggestion is to wait for a week or two and see where we're at.
Yeah, I was just referring to what the minute order that you're expecting from the World Court, the next 10 days, because that would be something very solid that people could see. And if that was anchored to every domain out there, that would be a huge wake up.
There won't be any trouble getting that out. It will be widely distributed. It will happen.
Okay. Sounds good. I yield.
Awesome. I think we have time for one more. Marlene, go ahead, Marlene. Marlene, you're muted. Going once, going twice. Okay, David Gall, go ahead with your question.
Thank you, Michelle. And in past articles, you've written about nationalizing certain companies, but along with nationalizing some companies, other companies need to just be foreclosed on. Right. How do we decide as assemblies, as a National Assembly, which companies need to stay open and which ones need to be closed? Can you expand a little bit more on that? You've mentioned Microsoft and so forth, what you'd like to see have happen with them. How do you envision that going down? And I'll just yield with that, and I'll take your answer with everybody else.
The actual process takes place in international jurisdiction because that's where all of these things have their roots, is in international jurisdiction. Okay, so the actual action of liquidating or forfeiting or foreclosing or whatever is being undertaken, it's actually happening in international jurisdiction, and then it steps back to the land, and they become, if they're going to continue as a corporation, they're going to continue operation at the national level and under our national law. And it's at that point that they then are in interaction with the Union state, and the Union state has its own lawful government in the State of the Union that can offer international access. I guess one way to look at this is you can reach the air jurisdiction either from the land or the sea. And what we're doing is bringing them back onto the land when we talk about nationalizing these corporations.
Okay. Is that you good, David?
It's a great start. I look forward to hearing more on the discussion after the dust settles.
Dust, yes.
Thanks, Anna.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, David.
Let's go for the last two and see if we can get them done, and I'll boogie on.
Oh, super. Okay. I'm sure they'll be thrilled with that. Gregory on San Diego. Gregory?
Lisa, he says in the chat he cannot unmute.
Oh, okay. Let me try hitting the ask you to unmute button. Does that work, Gregory? Does it give you an option when I click on that? Shoot. Gregory, type your question into the chat, okay? And we'll go to Loretta. Go ahead, Loretta.
Thank you. Hey, my question is just really quick. Anna, can I get on the email list so that I can get all the information in regards to the initiatives and everything that you're getting ready to roll out? As a state co-coordinator of Missouri, I have not been able to get any of that information to be able to take to the majority actually of the assembly. And so I just need to be added to the list. I'm not sure who sends that out. I don't know if that's you or if that's Terry or who's doing that, but if I could get on that list, that would be great. Thank you. I yield.
Okay, the Federation is going to be the one to send out that particular communication. And we will probably make it a public communication so that everybody gets it at once.
Perfect. Thank you. I yield.
Thank
Michelle, this is Marlene. Can I ask my question real quick?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Marlene. Yep.
Okay, Anna, I have an 80-year-old lady that I met this weekend, beautiful homeless woman. And she wanted to do her paperwork. The problem is that she moved to this area 6 years ago. Her spouse has passed. And she doesn't have anyone that can do her two witness testimony. No one. I've drilled her.
Okay.
And you will love her. She's a beautiful soul. But we got to help her. She's like that other lady.
All right. Well, this isn't the first time this has happened. And as we all get older, you will observe that the people who know you are further away and there are fewer of them.
Yes, exactly.
So in such a situation, we do have a special process that we can undergo, and we can do this. Marlene, why don't you get back in touch with me via email, and we'll go over this, and I'll dust off the law books and see what we need to do exactly. Okay?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. That would be really helpful for State Assembly recording secretaries to learn that as well. Okay, Clay on Utah. Go ahead, Clay.
It's Anna on the vendor accounts. I've had a vendor account since the bank opened. The vendors that I deal with, for lack of argument, let's say they don't accept gold or silver or AFD at this point, and the bank is open. I have my AFD card, bank card, whatever you want to call it. When I go to purchase from them, is it going to be exchanged to what they need as far as an AFD? Or excuse me, FRN?
Yeah, well, the way that this is going to work is that the vendor gets to choose how they want to be paid. So you as a vendor click the button AFD or, euro or British pound sterling or whatever you need as a vendor. And then that is what the system delivers to you.
Okay, so XYZ company needs $1,000 from me, and I use my account, be it by card or wire, however that is. They get what they need, and then ASN is purchasing from me. It's going to be AFD.
Well, the ASN gets to choose what they're going to be functioning in too. You become their vendor. Okay, so the ASN is choosing to do business with you, and you are requiring AFD or you're requiring euros, and they're going to pay you in whatever you're requiring.
Okay, so I'm going to have a lot of options, and then I really don't have to worry about my vendors, because they're going to say FRN, and it'll just be dealt with through the system.
Right, it's all automatic. And it's recalibrated every day to adjust for the changes in valuation of the different currencies.
Okay, because I'm on the toss of trade site, and I'm on the global trade as far as I know, because I have a bank account, but I haven't heard anything more. So I'm excited for that to happen. Thank you.
Okay, well, pleased to meet you. I hope you do really well with this, and we'll have a rip-roaring economy before you know it.
Woohoo! God bless you, Anna.
All right, we've got Sam the Butcher, and then I'm going to read Gregory's question from the chat. Go ahead, Sam.
Oh, wow, this is an honor. Long-time listener, first-time caller. ASN on Wisconsin here. Paul Dubea recorded me. Thanks, Paul.
Yay!
So we're looking forward to I'm operating a small mobile slaughter, and I've been getting a lot of heat from the USDA and shit like that. Sorry for swearing, but so I get to look forward to having a farm, drilling a well, and going farm to farm, killing animals and feeding the people without the crushing weight of you-know-who coming down on me. I yield.
Yeah, well, that's coming. The government is now shut down except for volunteers. So, it's going to be our common sense and our common good that's going to dictate how things go from here on in.
Thanks, Anna. You've been a huge inspiration. Thanks for coming from Wisconsin.
Cheese heads forever.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. All right, Anna, and this is the last question. It comes from Gregory on San Diego, and it's kind of broken up into two parts. So it says, can I, oops, sorry. So, as the people are chatting, it's messing up my view here. Can I cross-file in federal court and have a letter rogatory take the file into federal court that is more my court of competent jurisdiction? How do I proceed in a San Diego County state court on a matter related to my neighbor who filed against me? He doesn't like me when I record my government harassment that is happening all day, all the time, all day long. Police heli just flew over and does every day at different times of the day. And he goes on to say, whoops, sorry.
Look,
where did it go?
All these things are going away quickly. Okay, the government is shut down. All you're seeing out there are volunteers, and they are working on their full 100% liability. Hundreds of judges are leaving the bench. Hundreds of Leos are leaving because they don't want to work under full 100% liability for their actions. There is no government shield. There's no bonding. There's nothing like that. Okay? So they're on best behavior. And, all this stuff is going away. The government is shut down, and when it comes back, it's going to be the quote-unquote new old government. All right, so harassment, petty infractions, petty lawsuits, all that stuff is going away.
So when people get harassing letters from the IRS or the Franchise Tax Board, they could just return to sender, like.
Right. if
or
there's a
the
senator there by the time
USDA
it gets
that's
there. Look, I've been telling you that all this stuff is on its way out, and it is. I mean, it has to, there's no funding for them. They have no standing. They aren't supposed to be addressing you at all, okay? This doesn't mean that you have a license to go out and be lawless and injure people, because you'll be stopped from doing that. Your neighbors will stand up and say no, okay? So this isn't an excuse to be lawless. This is a time for you to stand up and show that you are a righteous person, that you are, caring person, that you are doing the right thing, and that your communities are capable of doing the right thing, okay?
May I?
Okay. Go ahead, Bambi. This is going to be the last one, Anna. Thank you for hanging.
Anna, what about the police and the cops that are literally harassing everybody, arresting people and whoever's in the car around where I live? What about them? Are they getting paid?
No. The territorial government has no money, and the municipal government is not able to funnel them more.
So how are they functioning when they're all over the place?
Theft.
Well, that's coming to a halt here. They won't be able to function much longer. Okay, and any of them who are volunteering are functioning under 100% liability. So if they hurt you, they're liable for the harm. There is no bonding. There is nothing standing between them and the judgment of the people. Okay? I just got a list with at least 200 judges who have resigned from the bench. Not retired, resigned.
But just in Georgia, there's like 1,200. Just in Georgia.
Watch it. Watch what happens.
Might I add one thing? I've been seeing an increasing, I say it's an alarmingly increasing amount of ASNs and people going pro se in their court systems and winning and being paid out large sums of Federal Reserve notes. And it's increasing. I just keep up on the videos.
It is, because they realize now that they've been doing the wrong thing. They've been serving the wrong people, and they've been attacking the wrong people. And so we are getting a lot more wins, and we are getting a lot more relief. And every day, more and more judges wise up, because it's coming from the top down. It's coming from the U.S. Supreme Court, and they have no answer for that. So, yeah. Just calm down and square your shoulders and feel better about it all, Bambi, because it's got about 10 days until D-Day.
Woo-hoo! That's exciting.
Yep, they'll
Don't
either be
buy the
working for us, or
champagne.
they'll either be working for us, or they won't be working.
That's exciting news, Anna. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, guys. I gotta say goodbye. I got people waiting for me. Hugs and kisses to everybody, and God bless, and I'll be thinking of you all. And
Everyone's going on about that sketch.
Keep
Love
watching.
you,
Grandma.
Anna. Thank you.
Well, we love you, Grandma.
I love you, Anna.
Love you, Anna.
Be
Thank
good
you.
and peaceful.
Love you, Anna.
Loving.
Have a night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Anna.
Be safe, Hannah.
Love you, Anna.
Bye, Anna.
Good night.
Good
night.
night.
Thank you for everything, Anna. Love
Thanks,
you.
Michelle.
Bye,
Good night,
Anna.
everybody. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Michelle. Thanks, Anna.
Grand Rising.
Woohoo!
Back at you, Priscilla.
Good night, everybody, and thank you for a great meeting.
Good night.
Good night, John boy.
Good night, everyone.